DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
You very much for taking time out of your Monday evening to join us.
It's close enough.
Close enough. What was it? Not really?
It didn't switch over right away cleanly. So the hello everybody was still over there. So hang on a second. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello everybody, and welcome out to your Monday evening. And that's exactly what happens on almost every Monday night. Maybe not the same way, but John gives me a countdown usually seconds before it happens. But we do want to thank you all for taking time to join us. It is, maybe miserable if you live in the Midwest, kind of near John, snow and ice and everything else he's been telling me has been going on. Over my way, it's just been rain and just, not snow, which knock on wood, I'll take it anytime. By the way, for those of you that are about ready to throw scores into the chat, I will tell you right now, I am not watching it. I have turned off the chat for tonight. I've turned off Facebook for tonight. In case you can't tell by the jersey that I'm wearing, the Florida Gators are playing, and they're playing Virginia. And I'm joining it with all of you. And as soon as we're done, I'm going to go watch the game. So thank you for doing whatever you're doing. And if you throw scores, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to see them. And John's promised to be nice.
But if they will reenact a play in the chat room, can I say, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened?
Sure.
Okay,
sure,
great.
You can do that.
Okay, great. Okay, just want to make sure we have the
but tonight, this is the final show for us for the 2019 season. And so obviously at this point, some of the year-end charts are coming out, and John threw out this idea. He's like, hey, let's talk about Billboard. Let's talk about the top 100, the hot 100 from the year, and specifically how that pertains to wedding DJs, whether these are songs that we're playing often, whether these are songs that we need to keep an eye out, whether they might be the next Uptown Funk. Which, by the way, I still don't understand how the song of the decade, according to American Top 40 with Ryan Seacrest, was "Shape of You."
Well, it's a good song, and there are a variety of different little mixes of it that hit mainstream radio. So, I mean, it was that or Cardi B.
I get the artist. I don't agree with that particular song.
Yeah, I get that. You old guys, you like your classics. If there would have been a Lawrence Welk in there,
or a Jeff Goldblum,
there you go, releasing his jazz album, it would have been awesome.
There you go.
So what we're going from tonight is a chart you can find out at DJNTV.com/charts. This is where we do the printable music charts, and on there today I put the chart that we'll be looking at tonight. This is the year-end chart for Billboard. From 2019. So it's basically taking the songs that have peaked or hit the charts in 2019 and have been the highest and the longest. Kind of like a version of the Music Archive show that you hear Dan Chaney do on Sunday mornings, where he does a look at, like a recent one was Roxette. He did the top 10 highest charting songs from Roxette. He's gone through and found the songs that had charted the highest and charted the most frequent, and then he puts those into an order. That's kind of what Billboard did for us with this chart we're looking at tonight. So let's get into it. Dan, I went through the list, and I probably have about 10 songs that I would say, as a mobile DJ, a mobile wedding DJ specifically. Now, obviously for teen dance, it's a different world, and that's not something we're going to really dig into tonight. There's probably about 10 songs I think that we really need to be aware of and have an understanding of how to mix them in to our sets.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, you feel that that's about right?
I thought 10 was a little low.
Okay.
Longevity, maybe a little bit different story. But there's a few more I think that kind of jumped out at me, one version or another. And we talked about also how some of these songs are going to have different places that we should be putting them and kind of hanging on to them. So I think that's another thing. If we're talking about an open dancing set, okay, now I think, you're right with the 10. If we talk about just in general throughout the evening, I see a few more possibilities.
Well, let's jump into it. We'll start right at the top here, hitting like songs 1 through 10. Obviously, song number 1 on the chart, Old Town Road. It's there. I think that probably the biggest surprise is you've got a song that was number 1 for 19 weeks. I believe it was 19 or 20 weeks, setting records as the number 1 song. And yet it's certainly not going to be the next Uptown Funk.
Right.
Where would you utilize that as a wedding DJ as you go into 2020?
It would have to be towards the end of 2020. I think what ended up happening with it caught on and it became more of an annoyance factor than hey, everybody, let's go out and dance to this. So when it was strong, especially in the beginning to middle, your younger couples were the ones that were more apt to say, hey, we want to have this. And then towards the middle to end, it became parents coming up and saying, hey, my son or daughter really likes this song, meaning not parents of like the couple, but parents who have like,
8,
6
9,
and
10
7-year-olds.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it became, and you'd almost have this, oh, please don't play that song. Or you'd play it and you'd see kind of the looks like, oh, not this song. And so I really feel like it needs to have that breathe. It needs to have that big breathe before it comes back. And I would utilize it as just kind of a nice transition song. There was some good mixes and stuff like that people are throwing out there where it mixed well with Pony. And so when you're kind of getting not a full throwback, but or old school type of feel to it, but where you're kind of just flavoring, you're like, okay, I want to go back a little bit, but I don't want to go back too far before I go back to maybe Genuine Pony or something like that.
Sure.
And so just kind of had that type of a nice feel to it. Again, not something I'm throwing in the heat of the night, but something I'm going to use to maybe help myself within some BPM jumps.
I was kind of envisioning it very similar when you mentioned the younger kids, because those 6 to 10-year-olds, those kids like that song and they know that they can sing along to it. So on those opportunities when I have maybe not a great dancing floor for the adults yet, but I have the kids present, which the wedding I did just a couple of weeks ago, this was a perfect example of that, and the kids absolutely loved it, and it went over well. I think if we have a straight adult crowd, I'd probably play it late when they were really intoxicated to the point where then it becomes more of a sing-along song. Maybe even that kind of winding the floor down type song as we go. Old Town Road will go away just like Whip It and Nay Nay, and Florida is oh wait, no, we can't read that part about Florida. It might go away, and if it does, Rhett, it's certainly not gonna be a heartbreaker. I think there's a couple of other songs that I would rather not see go away. This one I don't. Yeah, who cares?
I think the nice thing is it's short enough.
It is. That is
if
very
it doesn't go away, it's not like you're in it for a long time.
Yeah, and there's a couple of spots where you can jump out of it too, and just to have that experience with the hook of the song and in and out and gone. Let's see. Let's continue on. Number 2 is Sunflower from Post Malone. I think my thought, anything from Post Malone is going to be something that if you have somebody who loves Post Malone, when they get married in 10 to 12 or 15 or whatever years it's going to be, you probably will need to have it and revisit it for them. I just cannot see Post Malone being really. There's only one song that would have potential, but even that, I don't even know if that would be something I would use. I can't envision myself doing anything with Post Malone. Am I wrong with that?
No, definitely nothing dance worthy. There's some remixes now. With all being said, there are some remixes, and I think if you have the right remix or redrum, you could pull something off, especially if you had that crowd that kind of is on that. They're not really into heavy dance. They're not really into, they want that poppy type of feel. I could see it working there. Beyond that, if you're looking for a more contemporary cocktail mix, that could be a place to put it. But I'm not running out and changing my, adding it to that crate just because.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's one of those songs as I was going through and having some songs that would be moving over into that kind of cocktail, the contemporary cocktail, Post Malone stuff kind of fit into that They're talking Baby Shark.
We'll
Quit
get
it.
there.
We're
We'll
not
get
there
there.
yet. It's
Don't jump ahead on our track.
Halsey Without Me didn't really jump out as you know, it's there. Probably the next one would be Billie Eilish's Bad Guy. There's that one section in it where basically you've got the beginning and then it gets into the beat and it goes and it goes and it goes and it goes and then just before she has her break. I think a person could use that.
Mm-hmm.
Will it be something that a person would do at a wedding? Only if I had a bride that was really into the couple that were really into the newer music, in the last 2 years, and then it would be that much of that song. That would be a quick mix, in and out and gone.
What I find interesting is, with the exception of Old Town Road, anything in this first 5 that we're going to be talking about, I haven't had a request for at a wedding. As far as these songs, I haven't had a request for anything Billie Eilish at a wedding, but definitely not Bad Guy. And some of the other ones, like I've had the artist requested, but not those songs. And so I find it interesting that even the crowds that are more in tune with some of the newer stuff, that's nothing that they've decided to go to.
Yeah, and I think that's really what we're seeing. We're going to see with a lot of this is they might be in tune to this and they know it. Like my daughter. My 8th grader, we were talking about it, and it's like, okay, so can you look at this list, and what would you see? He goes, there's songs that if I've listened to them enough, I like them. Would I dance to them? Okay, there we are. That's the attitude. Continuing on, 5, of course, another Post Malone song. We're back to that. Look, is there anything in that top 10 that really jumps out at you, or that's beyond? I mean, getting a 6 through 10.
Yeah. I like Happier I throw that into my my contemporary cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's not a real big, it's not a dance floor filler. I could use it. I have a couple of remixes that I could use for dance floor. But I've thrown it into that. I've thrown it into my cocktail and added some spice around it. So that's about the only one. Ariana Grande, again, if you have a big group of females, a big group of whether it's bridesmaids, there's a bunch of college friends, fraternities, whatever, I could see some definite pull with that as well. But the other ones, Khalid Talk, Travis Scott with Sicko Mode, again, we're not talking teen dances, we're talking weddings.
Yeah.
Again, not really. And Jonas Brothers Sucker, you got a pop feel, but that's about where I would say it's probably where it's going to end.
I would say the only one that really maybe is Sucker from Jonas, and that would be if I have those 8 through 14-year-olds on the dance. They want to dance, and they just dance to Shut Up and Dance and that type of a vibe. Beyond that, if you've got an adult crowd, I can't see the Jonas Brothers being.
I could actually see early 20s and
going that high. Okay.
Because what I've seen with the Jonas Brothers is, you get that young, you get the teen, preteen type of age. But when you think about when Jonas Brothers were first popular, and you take that middle school age, so it was about 12 years ago.
Yeah, you're hitting it.
With their resurgence, that's another crew that has been like really into their music because it was something that they really enjoyed before. Then there was the break, so they grew up a little bit, and now the music's coming out, and it's not quite the same as what it was before. So it's okay for them to like it, and so I've seen some response with, again, that early to mid 20s age range for some Jonas Brothers stuff, and not so much Sucker, but them and their songs in general.
Very good thought. Yeah, there's that whole paying attention to what was hot when they were in those formative years. Mm-hmm. And that's a big part of music programming. Jumping 11 through 20. Panic at the Disco, yawn. Ariana Grande, another one of those yawns. Probably the first one in this set is Lizzo at 13 with Truth Hurts. Mm-hmm. I think so far of all the songs that this one's going to probably have the most chance for a level of longevity, meaning that most songs might be gone in 6 months to a year. Truth Hurts will probably be one, I would think, just because of that sing-along anthem type feel. That was my thought. Other than that, what kind of jumps out at you here in this set?
Well, as you said, I mean, the Lizzo right there. I mean, it is an anthem for the girls, whether they're married, whether they're not, it doesn't matter. They're the ones that are jumping out there. They're singing it. They're having a good time. It's also not overly difficult, but not too simplistic for them to enjoy it and have some longevity with it.
Mm-hmm.
The next one that jumps out for me, I personally like Senorita. I like the feel of it, especially with some of the Latin type of surge that there's been with music lately. It definitely has some pull there. But Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber, I Don't Care, was when that came out. I would say probably 2 weeks after it coming out, I threw it into my cocktail.
Okay.
Something again, it's one of those things I've been trying to modernize my cocktail list, if you will.
Yep.
Just to kind of have something that I might be grabbing, or I might be going to kind of bring a little bit more energy. It's not going to be filling a dance floor, but it's a good toe tapper. It's a good conversation, can be happening while it's playing.
Yeah.
And using that. And then that's it from the top 20.
Well, we got to talk about number 19.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper with Shallow. Where does that fit into the equation today? I mean, for a period of time, it was like this hot thing, and they were excited about it. I never got on that bandwagon myself. The song just didn't do it for me. Has it transitioned? I guess probably my biggest question. Has it transitioned into that cocktail time, or is it still something that would be a kind of a lame ballad?
I never used it. I don't think I've ever played it outside of a dinner or cocktail time. I remember having a couple requests for it, ahead of time, and it was even in like their dinner cocktail type of set. I never jumped on board for it. I almost feel like it's just completely fallen out of people's minds. It's weird because it's not that far removed, but it doesn't seem to be showing up anywhere. So I feel like if you were to use it during a cocktail or during a dinner, you would get a good response, because it'd be like, oh, I forgot about that one. And I think you could get away with it from that standpoint. I don't think it had enough of a strong ballad. Like you said, it's a lame ballad. Enough of a strong ballad to say, I'm going to use this for a slow song during the night. There's too many other great ones to pull from, whether it's modern or not, that I would say, oh, that's what I got to go to.
Randy mentions one that is not on the list, and might as well jump on that as long as Randy mentioned it, because Randy's pretty cool. If you haven't met Randy, you need to go to DJ Expo with us, and you'll meet Randy, because
Randy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is cool. I thought you were gonna say some other Randy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Tones and I, Dance Monkey has been super hot. It's like number 1 in the global charts and such. If you aren't playing that, you've got to make sure you've got that on your list, and it'll probably be something that will roll right through. The question becomes do you use the album version, or do you look for a mixed version that has a little bit more of a beat to it? Shani has an EDM version she absolutely loves. MJ doesn't have an album version in his his set, because everything is either a redrum, remix, whatever. Just that becomes your personal question for most of us. Mm-hmm. What is the version we like? So anyway, I just want to mention that as long as. Reggie, I hadn't gotten anything for requests and such, but it was at the last 2 events here, which just went crazy. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay, so there really wasn't anything. Another. Let's see. We're at 21 through 30. I don't have them highlighted properly. Excuse. In that set, we get into our first Maroon 5 song, "Girls Like You." Maroon 5 has a huge appeal. Mm-hmm. So we got that. Do you actually could a person actually utilize this song anywhere, or is it pretty much one of these songs that's like, oh, it was there and it's gone?
I think you could utilize it. I think you could utilize it in a cocktail. However, as weird as it sounds, I would probably go for the non-Cardi B version. If I did. If I'm doing it for cocktail and I'm wanting to keep kind of that poppy type of feel, because that's the one thing that was weird about that song that I liked, but I didn't like from a playing standpoint. It has a very poppy feel. She comes in and she kind of, and with her rap portion that she does, it changes the feel, and then it comes back to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was almost like they took two songs and just like, okay, we're going to put them together. And so I feel like if you have a version that doesn't have her in it, you could use it in a cocktail pretty smoothly. Again, during dance portion, I just don't see unless you have somebody who leans really towards that poppy, pop rock type of feel with a lot of the stuff that they're asking or responding to. That's about it, I think, the extent of it.
Then right under that one is Ava Max with Sweet But Psycho. That's an interesting song because it's like when I have played it, when you've gotten into the hook and such, it's like we can do the chorus, verse, chorus, and then it seems like that's about the extent of what they lose interest in a song. But for that period of time, it's like they're right into it and they're like, oh, this is really, the hook is cool enough. That's been my experience with it. It's one of those songs I think it can be used, but I don't think it's ever going to be you can play the full song.
No. And exactly what you hit. You've got to quick mix it, because even when it was the most popular and playing at an event, they were done.
Mm-hmm.
It was too, I don't know if it was too much the same. Just like there was no real, it was just kind of like this with the whole song. They lost out on it.
Okay, just wanted to get that up. Okay, continuing on in the up to 30. The song 27. Someone You Loved.
Mm-hmm.
It was huge on the adult contemporary charts. Mm-hmm. We've seen it a lot there, but I haven't seen it too terribly much as much on the top 40 charts.
It seemed to have some ground, especially in your more top 40 mainstream as opposed to top 40 rhythmic. But Sirius XM Hits One was playing it all the time. A couple of some of the big radio stations, I know New York and LA were playing it because it seemed like I was hearing it all the time.
Okay.
There for a little bit. And this is Shaney and the three of us, we got into this discussion probably about a year ago, maybe not even in that long, where it was like the lyrics behind a song, and as far as, as far as how to handle that, I wouldn't play it at a wedding because it's about a breakup. It's about getting past after a breakup, and life will go on. Not quite the same as like, and I'm going to go country, like Unanswered Prayers from Garth Brooks, which was like, I was in love with them. It didn't work out. Now I'm with you. I'm glad it didn't work out. It didn't work out. I'll move on. Like, I feel like the message for a wedding is not something I'm going to bring in, and especially because it's not going to be a song that's going to be in demand.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I Will Survive, for lack of better terms.
Sure. And of course, somebody, Rhett was asking about playing Sweet But Psycho for a wedding. There are some clients that a song like that, I mean, the Buck Cherry song, I've had brides who are insisting that we play that song for them. You're going to have all sorts of different types. There's some brides I've worked with, which I wouldn't even think about playing something like that because they are very conservative and it's just not them. Obviously, you've got to weigh those out. Tonight's show is kind of talking about things that might be possible, but obviously there's going to be spots that you aren't going to play everything. So
nothing's ever 100%.
yeah, that's the only thing you guarantee that it's not. 31 through 40. And then as we get into these higher numbers, it's going to get to the point where we're like, yep, okay. This is probably the more popular Post Malone at 32 with Better Now. Again, I think Better Now is probably your contemporary cocktail song. The only one that really probably stood out as a possibility was for the younger, that the under teenage years, was 5 Seconds of Summer's Youngblood had a moment last spring and early summer where some of the kids were into that.
I see 35. Dan and Shay,
Speechless.
A nice. You're looking for something that has some mainstream appeal, even though it's a country group. Some of your mainstream are going to be aware of it, and so you can play it, and so you get that new ballad. So definitely see that. I've contemplated using 39. So Taylor Swift, You Need to Calm Down. I've contemplated using that going into a bouquet toss.
Okay.
Just because of kind of like, first off, Taylor Swift, you get the female appeal, and then throwing the bouquet, just kind of a play off of the fighting, no, you need to calm down, and just kind of a little bit of a play on with it. I've not done that. Of course, I haven't really had bouquet tosses lately, but that's kind of been the piece there. And then 40, Lil Nas X, Panini. I've done that when I've had a group that's really responded to something new, and I want to do that without going too much in one direction.
Sure.
It still has kind of that mainstream because of following up to Old Town Road. You do have that ability to have that crossover with it. Nothing staying power though, that's for sure.
No, for sure on that. But yeah, they're talking about Speechless being a pretty good song with requests and such going in there. Rhett actually mentioning Gold Digger. Yes, I have had wedding couples request Gold Digger to be played at their wedding. That would be one that would not be played without them specifically requesting it and having that conversation about, okay, you know what the lyrics are, or what they're singing about, right? Yeah, we love it. It's a great song. And okay, it's your day. I'll just send it out to Grandma. Okay. There was a song that someone had mentioned. I think it was on one of the Facebook groups. There's a song by, and I don't think it was on here. Was it a Dua Lipa?
Who? Dua Lipa?
Dua Lipa. There we go.
Okay.
And the song was what? Don't Start. Is that her big one?
That's the new one.
The newest one. Okay.
That's the newest one. I think keep in mind, these are not the current charts at the end of the year. These are the top 100 for the year. So I think that song probably on the chart, not going to be on the one that we're referencing.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw that October or November on promo only, somewhere in that ballpark. So yeah, it wouldn't be out yet, but it is. It is. Okay. Let's see. So we're up to 41 through 50.
46.
Oh yeah, there we go. Luke. Yep.
Luke Combs, Beautiful Crazy. Whether you have a strong country audience or not, I've had a lot of requests for that. Just something fun. And again, one of those that you could put into a cocktail, you could put into a dinner set, and it's not, you're not losing anything.
Mm-hmm. And then probably the only other one that might have, and that's something you'd probably play at a wedding, but it's one that you would have to have in that repertoire for those times where somebody wants to be, kind of a flashback, would be Mo Bamba. You would want it to be somewhere for those times when you get that request.
See, and I had such a issue that developed, I guess, for lack of better terms, because of a school dance where I utilized that I think I'm just jaded.
You're just never
from
gonna.
it.
Yeah, you'll never look at it again.
Yeah.
Okay, jumping ahead here to 51 through 60. One of the songs that I'm curious of where this would go. Well, we'll get to 50. That whiskey glasses has actually been something that I've had some requests latter part of the summer. I don't know if that's something you've seen also.
Never played it, never requested it. Offhand, blanking on the actual song. I think I remember it.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd recognize it, but yeah, I had requests for it, and it wasn't something I was all that familiar with at the time. Of course, country doesn't make my radar too much anymore. But yeah, getting to 56, the Get Up. That's an intriguing song because as you kind of do the write up about what professionals from Billboard were saying about the song and what their thoughts are on it. Is it going to be this little flash in a pan, and it's going to be even less than some of these other little? It's going to be the next pizza song. For those of us who were there when they did the pizza dance in Atlantic City a number of years ago. I don't know about that particular one. I think the dance, if they could have made a simpler dance to it, it probably would have gone. I think it could have been a stronger song.
Oh, you know what? And I gotta apologize for something. Still goes back to the whole. I wouldn't play Louis Capaldi, Someone You Loved, because of the lyrics. But the song I was actually thinking of was number, what was that, 54? Dean Lewis, Be All Right. That's the one that I was thinking of, where it was okay, I'm going to get over you and move on. Very similar type of messages in both of them, but it was the other song that I was thinking of.
Okay.
Anyway, going back to the Get Up, I don't foresee this one sticking around. I don't foresee it being a flashback. I don't foresee it being a go-to for people when hey, I want to have a line dance. Oh, let me go request the Get Up. I don't see it. And I think because, and a couple of people nailed it, the steps are too much. That one of the biggest complaints I saw and read in some different articles when it came out was there's so many steps and it's not repetitive enough without changing one little piece to it, that it's like, you got to really know it. Like, I can't do this half drunk. Like, it's not, your guests are going to go up there and they're going to make a complete fool of themselves.
Yeah. Yep.
What I found funny while we're talking about those types of songs, though, the wobble lately, the people will request it, but the amount of people that line dance to it has steadily decreased.
Okay.
For me. I don't know if they just don't know it and they're like, I just want to dance to the song, or if it's something else. I don't know. But
I always find it interesting when someone requests like the electric slide and they don't know it, but they dance to it. It's like, is that even legal?
Oh, they actually dance to it? Like, not,
yeah,
not,
like
you're not attempting to do the dance and they miserable.
No, they're just out there doing their little thing because they like the song. I didn't know that was possible. So
stay out of the way of everybody who attempts to do it and do it wrong.
Yeah, exactly, because they'll kick your butt if you're in their way. Other than that, I don't think there's anything too exciting.
I will say right now, because of the Latin feel, if you're looking for something to play and you're looking for something in the mid 90 range, mid 90 to upper 90, DJ Snake, Taki Taki, a lot of fun with it. Has a nice feel to it, a nice little, not something you're gonna play the whole thing, but something that you can throw in and work into those sets that are looking for the more reggae, more Latin type of feel to it. My wedding this weekend, it was like, I don't think there was a single Latin person there, but the request that I had was right and left stuff like this.
Sure.
And huge response.
Excellent. Yeah, that's one I think Michael's played it, but I haven't utilized it. But I'm jumping down through 61 through 70.
Well, real quick here before we
Oh.
get to, hang on a second. I got something that's in the way. There we go. Before you get to that, I would say 60.
Okay.
If you have a conservative couple, you've got a Christian couple, Lauren Daigle, you say, Christian, contemporary Christian type of message to it. In fact, I think it was on the contemporary Christian and crossed over. So you could definitely use that. You could even potentially use it for a ballad if you're looking for, or just a nice dinner type of song, especially if you have a more religious type of couple with you that you're working with.
Cool. Good note. I was actually, now that I'm looking at it, that was one I was a little foggy on because it hasn't been on my request radar. Good.
But then going to 61, Panic at the Disco. I know earlier when you saw High Hopes, you're like, Panic at the Disco, and you moved on. This is one again. You got a younger. I wouldn't say your 6 to 10 year olds, but I would definitely say your preteens and stuff like that. You're looking for something if you want to utilize them. This is a good Panic at the Disco. This is a good song to be able to do that. They're going to get out. They're going to have some fun with it, and utilize it in that way.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm not a huge Panic at the Disco fan myself, and part of it is because their songs generally don't fill a dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
At least not.
Concoma. Again, talking about that Latin stuff that I mentioned a few times, I probably said it wrong. Anyway, if you're looking for a way to have some fun where you're transitioning out of an old school because it samples Snow and Former. In fact, Snow is on the song. If you're looking for something like you're in an old school and you're like, hey, I want to transition to something new, you could use it. It's not one of those that's suddenly going to be, you're not going to play that and people are going to come out to your dance floor. But you can use it to kind of help yourself with a transition. Early, middle part of the year, staying power, no. Year from now, you probably won't be able to use that trick.
Yeah,
but
you would forget.
Longer out, you might, and because if you use the right part that has a Snow Informer, it might be able to be there. It might be one of those that kind of you throw in your back pocket just to kind of catch people off guard. But
good point. Do we go all the way down to 69?
Yeah, I think that's your next one.
Yeah,
Cardi B, Bad Bunny, J Balvin. I like it. Not personally, that's the name of the song. But.
So this is a little bit of a wild card because this one could have staying power, just because it might become a version of like Starships, from where it is that throwback where people are like, oh yeah, I remember that song, and they still kind of, I don't know, and maybe it would take the right mix to be that type of and I'm not a huge fan of Cardi B by any means, but that particular track, I've had some really, really good responses with it, crazy good response with it, and there have been times where it's been like, yeah.
I think the one thing that hurts a lot of songs that are like this, the BPM is so low that to have a good staying power, I feel like you almost need to have a remix or a redrum or something that's going to help bring it up, because it doesn't feel like there's a lot of stuff down there with staying power that I can go, hey, while I'm here, let me grab this. You almost have to be real intentional to be down there, and unless you have the right crowd. Now, here's the thing: you could slam mix it, especially if you have a request, and you could have that type of feel to it. But if you're wanting to get like a decent beat mix, I think it's like 64, 67, something like that for the BPM. It's a hard one to grab and use.
Sure. But let's see, where are we up to the next set?
Ariana, Breathin'. This is one. The right group of girls. Maybe. Don't really feel like you're going to jump out and do it. But if you're looking for something, when we're looking at this set, that would probably, let me put it this way. When we're looking at the set of 71 through 80, that's one. And then we might as well mention 75 since it was
75,
brought up
yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, it's been mentioned throughout the show tonight with Baby Shark, which probably will become a where do you think to give a song a reference song that it will be similar to with longevity?
Oh, you mean like something that it might
that we've had in our arsenal. I think with kids, the Baby Shark thing, I think this might be one of the first songs that we will still every once in a while flash back to in 5 years.
Yeah.
I think this might be the when Barney's "I Love You" came out. This became a song that we could as a novelty we could throw out as a sending it out to Joe, the best man tonight, because everyone wants to just give you a hug tonight, Joe, and say that kind of a thing. And it was this funny novelty that was, goodness gracious, I think it was at least 10 to 15 years we got out of that one. Not so much anymore because people don't know who the purple dinosaur is anymore. But I could see, so far, I think of all of our songs, Baby Shark is got the probably longest potential shelf life.
And again, like you said, and every once in a while, the right crowd, the right person, the right audience is going to make the difference for that one.
Yeah.
And I do find it funny that, we could throw that in, maybe, once every couple of years, and it wouldn't even probably be completely like hit me upside the head when it came on, because it was just like, if we only did it that often.
Mm-hmm.
I would compare it to like a Hokey Pokey.
Yeah. Yep.
That again, the right crowd, the right, they get a bunch of kids.
They could have some fun with it. Yeah. The last one in that set would probably be the Luke Bryan "Knockin' Boots" in that country realm that's been requested quite a bit.
See, I like the Jonas Brothers song. I like "The Only Human." I don't see longevity with it though.
Yeah.
But of the ones that are on the list, it has the most easy dance feel. Some of the other ones are a little bit faster, or just don't have that type of driving beat behind them. That one does.
And for those of you just joining us, we've had a group joining us here. The charts that we're talking about the year-end charts for 2019 from Billboard. You can find these and print them at DJNTV.com/charts. That's charts with an S. That's where we have pretty much every week we put our charts up there, so you can print those out and take those with you to your weekend shows. The year-end charts, and we are up to 81 through 90.
I had a request for 85 for the first time ever. Thomas Rhett, Liquid Guy gave her. Played it, didn't really get a response.
Yeah,
found it funny that it was on the bride's request list, but it was kind of like
yeah. And in that particular set, there's really nothing. I mean, there's obviously Sam Smith was on the charts with his "How Do You Sleep" quite a bit. I don't think it has anything to do with us. Maybe if you were going to, I don't know, would that make a cocktail hour? Yeah, I don't know.
No,
probably.
And that I like Sam Smith to a degree, like that much maybe. But I find a lot of his songs, they're not. It's almost like they're the wrong feel for a ballad, and they're the wrong feel for like a mid tempo.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost like a little too slow for even mid tempo, but too fast for ballad. That like that. Yeah.
Reggie mentions Lee Brice is a newer artist coming on, which is at 81 with Rumor. I've not had any requests for any Lee Brice, but that's doesn't mean anything about the skill or talent or ability of that person. It's just that I don't do as many weddings that have a country request as I used to.
And I would say that kind of is more of a testament also lately. There for a while, country was really big. And I think some regional areas, you're still going to obviously have that. It just doesn't seem, unless it's a strong ballad, there's not a lot of crossover happening with them like there was 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not surprising. We see some of these and we're like, okay, I kind of recognize it. Or if you listen to a country station, of course you recognize it. But it's not making its realm to where you're going to be able to throw it in with a all group type of response.
It was interesting. One of my summer outdoor events, they were telling me that we're a great big country crowd and we're going to bring all your country music. We're going to have a great time with that. Okay, so that makes me concerned. So I'm printing, the country charts. I did the, 2017, 2018 year-end charts of the countries. So I would hopefully be ready for these types of things. Yeah, well, we did a few newer songs, but most of them were from like the Garth Brooks, Shania Twain during that period of time when they ruled the airwaves. That's what they wanted to. So it was actually kind of fun because that's when I used to do a lot of country stuff. So I actually knew what I was doing. Anyway, speaking of country, 91 through 100, 91 with Tequila on Dan and Shay has been huge. Getting its airplay throughout central Minnesota. And of course, then it's been getting requests. I'm not a huge fan of playing songs, that are titled after alcoholic beverages at some events, but it has been a very popular one, and that could be one of these that's going to be around as requests, especially in a bar type of setting in the future.
Mm-hmm. Big hit among your contemporary Christian fans as well.
I would imagine so, because it was communion wine or tequila, and they're like, tequila. Okay, 3 syllables. Communion wine, 4 syllables.
4 makes it better.
That's
4 is more than 3.
Yeah, it is. But they would have to like add another syllable to that rhyming verse. And
oh, you're talking about when they were singing.
When they were creating this song Tequila, it was supposed to be communion wine at first, but.
Oh, I thought you meant that's what they were going to serve in the church.
No. They were going. It was from that Christian church perspective, and then they changed it. No, maybe not so. Anything else in that last 10? I don't.
No, and I mean that's to be expected. I mean you're talking about the year-end charts, and this is one of those things that I think is also interesting. If you have a conversation, or I had a conversation at Expo, might have been Bob Powell, or it was with Randy, where we were talking about crate setups and folders and how do you do that? How do you decide what you're going to do? Because you get so much so many songs in a year. How much you're actually going to pull? I mean, you look at what we took from the top 100 from this year. Now, I know there are other songs that you would probably pull from this year potentially that didn't make this list, and they would go into your folder for some reason or another. But you almost have to have that specialized piece within the year or within the decade, because I mean you get down here to 91 through 100 and you're like, yeah, we might, but most likely we're not going to.
Yeah, and that's really the thing. I mean, there's many songs like at 97 now, that Dan and Shay tune, I played it, and I know that it had airplay, but is it going to be something that we would probably use next year? Maybe not. Only
now, if I'm going to pull from a Dan and Shay, I'm going to pull like a Speechless, or potentially Tequila. I would probably go Speechless before Tequila.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of those that you could use, probably even 2-3 years from now, to a decent response for a nice ballad.
Very much so.
These others in the ends, not so much.
So yeah, if you guys want to grab the chart and such, or every week you can pop in. I try to get those updated on Thursday. Well, actually Wednesdays, but the idea is I want to have them ready about noon on Thursday at the absolute latest. So they've been going up Wednesday nights. Go out to DJNTV.com/charts and you can download the weeks. Generally, there's the Billboard chart, the Hot 100 for the week. There is a recurrent chart that happens. There's a year-to-date chart that happens, and I alternate that with a top 50 of some different formats. So there's a Billboard Hot 100, and then there will be like the top 50 one week, then a recurrent top 50 another week, and then the year-to-date. And there's also IDJ Pool is a sponsor of that section of our business here at DJNTV. And they have their pick hits of the week. So they go through and they pick some of the songs that the record labels are wanting them to kind of identify and push, which is kind of cool because sometimes the record labels have things that they're pushing that we might have overlooked. And it's like, ooh, that is a pretty good song, because that's the ones that the record label is going to put some money behind to get out there in public. So it's kind of like a sneak peek sometimes. So there.
Yeah.
that is our show. And this
So
is
for those of you that are keeping track, I don't know if we hit more than 10, if we hit less than 10, but we definitely hit all 100 in one form or fashion.
Yeah,
so.
We went through the list, and some people have pulled out some additional ones and said that's a pretty good song too. So yeah, there's stuff there. It's just not. I don't think we're going to be in 3 years saying, oh my gosh, look at all these songs from 2019. These are awesome. Yeah. I don't think we're going to be saying that.
It's funny. It's funny that would be like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And some people are like, oh, it's the state of the music industry today. I don't think it's so much the music that's coming out. I think it's also some more to do. We could get into the whole psychology of this, of like, our attention span to a particular song.
Mm-hmm.
Something becomes popular and it might go viral, which keeps it around, but it's not something that necessarily is going to be this dance floor filler.
Very true. Yeah.
So
yeah, this is it for the week, Dan. This is it for 2019. We have wrapped up the year.
We have.
Just like that.
So that's it? Nobody else is doing that stuff the rest of this week?
No, tomorrow. Yeah, because Randy Bartlett will be kicking off the first of the year on Wednesday morning with his video. Tomorrow, it's I was trying to talk Brian into doing a music show tomorrow night because Brian Red is off for the evening, and then he mentioned something about that he probably wasn't brave enough to take a night and spend it with DJs when he should be spending it with his significant other. So.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's like, well, that's why I was suggesting you would do it instead of me, because I don't want to be. I'm not that brave either. So I think tomorrow night everyone will be kind of just hanging out, and then we'll be back. I think Wednesday night. I don't know if MJ is doing anything. I think we're pretty much just pre-recorded things the rest of the week. There will be a show that goes live tomorrow night, and it's actually kind of a cool show. Ron Ruth he interviewed a guy on internet security, talking about how to protect our computers and our email and different things such as this. And it was such a cool video. We're actually going to be not only putting it in a DJ realm, but we're going to be putting it into like our local newspaper that Lori runs here. We're going to be putting it on its channels because it's just great information for anyone who is online these days. Because this guy is a high-end security, internet security person who Ron just ran into, and they did a really kind of a cool show and talking about a lot of that stuff. So that will be going live. So if you don't catch it tomorrow night, it'll be there for Wednesday and such, and you guys can check that out. That's definitely worth listening to and kind of going through and making some notes on some of the things the guy's talking about. Because as I was going through and editing and listening to and scanning through, it's like, gosh, this one I've got to stop and listen to in full. And that was my goal for today, and I spent the day chasing tractor parts. So tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that is it.
Wow. Well, let us be the first. If we're not, let us be one of those people that wishes you a very happy new year. Enjoy whatever prosperity might be coming to you as you go into 2020. John and I have already talked about a couple of the shows that we might be coming up the next few Mondays. So make sure that you are tuning in, because we've got some good things to get you started and kind of kickstart you for that 2020 year. And hopefully you're already seeing it and it's shaping up to be the best ever for you. Thank you very much for taking time out to join us. See some of the stuff that's going to be coming on this week that John had mentioned, and we will see you next year.
All right. Good night, everybody.